Hopefully, you're all getting ready for the holiday season. It'll be here before you know it. And I wanted to do a gift guide. I was originally going to do it for board gamers in general. And some of these things will apply to board gamers in general, but I wanted to first do a focus on the Marvel Champions community because I'm sure there's a lot of you and you're like, hey, I would really like to know or, tell my significant other, my family, my friends, whatever it may be, what to get me for this holiday season. Now, part of this gift guide, we're not going to go into like actual heroes, right? Or like expansion boxes. You can tell them which ones to get, whatever. We're going to talk about the accessories that I play with that I think most Marvel Champion players would really like, or at least some of them they would like, maybe not all of them. And this way, this will help them in their buying, purchasing, and decisions. So, let's start with the first one, and what I consider to be one of the most important things in any card game, and that is sleeves. Now, I personally use Dragon Shield sleeves. This is a black matte sleeve. This is their standard size. They only come in two different sizes. It's like standard and Japanese card size. You want the standard size ones. But I have a bunch of different ones with clear matte and a regular clear that's not matte, so just clear classic. And that's what I use. And they are a bit expensive, so I have to warn you about that. Like, for example, right now, if you bought a box of 10 on Amazon, it's like 90 bucks. Now, there are times on eBay, it's a bit cheaper. We can get it down to like 70 or 80 bucks a box. Not like a box, but like a box of 10 of these, I should say. But if you bought just like one box of these on Amazon, it's like $10 to $11. So buying in bulk is usually good. Trust me, the card gamer player in your life is going to use all of them. Just know what kind they use. A lot of people use the clear matte. They really like matte sleeves. They're in general really good. They are higher quality, but they last a really long time. I play hundreds of games of Marvel Champions, and after about 200 games, I have to replace the sleeves on some of the cards, not all the cards, but some of them. So that is an option. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is I don't even have the packaging, the outside packaging, because these come in double packaging, but these are known as they're not really penny sleeves. They're a little bit nicer than penny sleeves. But these are from Sleeve Kings. And I'll put a picture of what it actually looks like on the screen somewhere. But this size is 63.5 by 88 millimeters, or mm. This is your standard slide that most cards will go in. Now, I use Sleeve Kings for a lot of other card games. I don't use it for Marvel Champions, but it's a much cheaper alternative. I will warn you about it though. So if you went on Amazon and bought one pack of these, it's $5.75 because you get the free shipping through Prime. Not worth it. Go to the actual Sleeve Kings website, and I'll put a lot of these links down below in the description to hopefully help you out. This is now $3 per pack on their website. And yes, you have to pay for shipping, but shipping's not too expensive. It might be like 10 bucks. So if you're buying like a lot of these, right, it's going to make a lot more sense to buy them through the Sleeve Kings website versus Amazon. If you're just buying like one pack or two, then you're fine. Now, this is 60 microns thick. Just important to note because they do sell two options. Another one is the old FFG style, which is 100 microns, which is almost the size of Dragon Shield. I think Dragon Shield's 110. Actually, no. Doesn't even say. I thought it was 110, but I'm not even 100% sure. I'm sure it says somewhere. I just don't remember. But they're almost as thick as Dragon Shield sleeves. Some people really like them. They do have a little bit extra at the top, so just FYI. I don't have any of those sleeves, or I would show you them. But anyway, as far as sleeve options go, really simple. Dragon Shield, if they want premium stuff and they're willing to invest in it for their collection. If not, totally cool. Use Sleeve Kings. They work fine. You do have to replace them more often, but they're much cheaper, and they're easy to get in stock. Like, it's not too hard to find them or anything like that. All right, so sleeves, I would argue, are the most important thing. The rest of these aren't. Like, you can go any order on these things. But for me, one of the next important things to really invest in is playmats. Now, I currently use this is what it looks like, or this is the box of what it looks like. This is the Marvel Champions Game Mat XL. This is from Gamegenic, and it comes in three different colors. There's a blue one with the Marvel logo like this in the middle. There's a yellow one, same print, just different colors. There's like a yellow, gold, orange one, and there's a black one. The black one is really nice. I would have gotten it, but all my card sleeves are black. So it's important to note, pay attention to what kind of card sleeves people use, because the back of Marvel Champions cards themselves are blue. And if they're using a clear sleeve or anything, it might be harder to see that card on this mat. For example, I use black sleeves, so if I got the black mat, it would have been harder to see those cards. And Same with the orange one. If they use clear sleeves for the orange cards, then it's orange. It might be harder to see. That isn't like definite that it's harder to see. It just might be harder to see. So there's other mats that used to exist back in the day. I'm not even gonna get these out. These are the old Marvel Champions game mats. They used to do them, one for the core box and one for Rise of Red Skull. They don't do these anymore for whatever reason. It would have been really cool if they did, because I really liked them. But anyway, the Marvel Champions XL game mat. You can't find it on Amazon right now, but you can find it on websites like Miniature Market. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Nerds too. I can double check really fast, but it's generally speaking on Miniature Market right now. It's 28 bucks. It's a good value. Hold on, let's look up Marvel Champions. Game Nerds might have it a little bit cheaper if they have it. Actually, I don't even think they have it. So, I don't. Oh no, they do. It's also $28. So it's the same exact price on Game Nerds as of today. They also sell mats that are like half the size. So this mat for the XL mat is probably, again, is big. They do sell ones with like pictures of like Hulk and Black Panther on it, and it would only be about this big. So it's about half the size of the mat. That's for somebody who's just playing like just their cards and not anything else. You can fit it on that mat. So there's a ton of options there. Game Nerds has a bunch of those options. The only issue, quote unquote, I have with those mats is that if they're like me, they're going to play a lot of different heroes, and maybe they would like their favorite hero as a game mat. But if they're playing different heroes, sometimes it's really nice to have like the match the hero, and they don't make them anymore for the newer heroes, so you wouldn't be able to like keep up the collection or anything. Just FYI. There's also options on Etsy if you want. I know some people have gone that route where there's generic mats that are somewhat reasonably priced. They're not super cheap, but there are generic mats you can find on Etsy. They just have like Marvel stuff on it and whatever. Sometimes you can find a better price, sometimes you can't. A lot of times they try to do on Etsy, because there's so many fees for selling on Etsy, that they try to make it much more premium material and stuff to like kind of jack up the price and whatnot. So I've generally found that this big blue mat that I have, or if you got the orange one or the black one, whatever, are generally your best price stuff for Marvel related stuff. Now, GameGenix used to, and I have to double check now, but they used to sell generic playmats. And actually, I don't even know if they do anymore. Oh, no, they do. They do. So they sell generic playmats. Let me grab one so I can show it to you. So these are the generic ones. It's much shorter, right? Compared to what the box that you saw that was like this long. This is a generic playmat with them. And you can get two of these for $27, so it's almost the same exact price, but one of these is 13 bucks or 14 bucks, sorry. So $28, I guess. Well, that's for the black one. Some of the colored ones, like they have a yellow, a blue one. This is all on Miniature Market I'm looking at, or like, just $10. So I guess you can get two of them and save a little bit of money. But anyway, I use two of these when I play different card games that don't have like themed mats. So I'll put like, one and then whatever, or side by side, right? If you want to do it that way, it doesn't really matter. But that's another way that I play if you're looking to save like a little bit of money. That is a way you can do it. Having the two different colors can be nice, because again, you have a play area versus like the villain area or whatever it may be. Now, if you're a significant other, family, friend, whatever it may be, only plays like their cards and doesn't play like they're playing with other people, so like the other people are using their stuff, maybe you can get away with one map. That's just FYI. But as far as big mats go, I don't think GameGenix really sells the big ones anymore, and I haven't found a good generic big mat that isn't like too crazy. Again, measure your table space, make sure your table space is the correct size, and then pick a mat from there. But yeah, it's kind of weird things with play mats. They're all over the place in size. They're not great, to be completely honest. Or at least I have a hard time finding like a good size mat when it's generic. Usually they make them like super big for a table, or they make them really tiny, like this size, for like a personal play mat thing. And it's hard to find one that's kind of in between that you're looking for. But that GameGenix one, the XL mat, I think is pretty good. Reasonably priced. Hopefully it goes down a little bit. But I do think that is something that, again, it helps you pick up cards. It helps the cards from getting damaged. It's generally nice to play on. So I'm a huge fan of play mats. I think it just adds to the experience overall. All right, really quick, I want to talk about storage, because I need to show you a picture of like, this is like the high end storage, right? This is an option that you can do. Daydreaming games, people really like their stuff. This is the cheapest model, is $82. And if you got like their super expensive model, it's $133 per box. The deluxe I think has real wood versus like this is like more of a particle board wood, right? So it's just like understand like this is what $82 will get you. I actually don't know if it comes assembly. Assembly and clear drying wood required. Yeah, so you still have to like assemble the box. So realize this is gonna be flat shipped to you. Versus I think the deluxe stuff. No, you have to assemble it too. I can see the finger joints in it. So you have to assemble it too. So understand that I've done boxes like this before, not this brand, but I've done other ones, and they're not super hard to assemble. Like you just put a little bit of wood glue in these joints right here, just so that you know, in case you're willing to get into it, like right where it's like right where that mouse is. You put a little bit of wood glue there. I just take a little squeeze and put it on a paper towel, take a toothpick and just rub it in there and whatever, and just hold it shut. Wood glue is really good with this stuff. Anyway, but it's 130 bucks, right? Like it's really expensive. And I will tell you right now, if they have a full collection, one box will not be enough. I don't even know two boxes is enough. So you're looking at something that's going to get pretty crazy expensive pretty fast. Now, for me personally, I went a cheaper option way back in the day. This is a generic white box. I mean, it's so white, it's changing the aspect or the color of my camera because it's white balancing to it. But anyway, this is what I use, and I use 5 of these now, and I'm gonna have to use a 6th one. Now they sell them 4 rows wide, and I have those for different games and other places. I have them for like my TCG collection. But to give you an idea on the inside, this is what it looks like. Okay. So it's just a single row, and this comes flat packed, so you do have to put it together, but it's really easy. There's no glue or anything. I'm just like, you just fold it together and fold in the sides, and it just sticks, and it's pretty easy. Now, you used to be able to get them really cheap. The problem is they're harder to get cheap now. So now, currently on Amazon, you can buy these boxes. You have to get 10 of them, and it's for $50. So that's $5 per box, right? Much cheaper option. Personally, I like it. It says it stores 1,600 cards. It depends on the sleeves you use. Thicker sleeves take up more space, stores less cards. If you use the cheaper sleeves that we talked about earlier, you can store more cards in it. So take it with a grain of salt of the actual count. It's very dependent on the sleeves you use. Now, the other one I use a lot that I really started liking these are also from BCW. In case people are wondering, that's literally what it is, BCW. These are magnetic, and there's no assembly. Like it comes flat. You can kind of see how it's separating. It comes flat. You just like fold it together, plop your cards in, put it in, hold it shut. And the magnet's pretty good. I mean, it might wear out over time. I don't know, but I mean, it snaps it pretty good. This definitely holds less because it is only one row of the white box, right? You can kind of see that. So it's definitely less, but they're nicer. Like they are nicer. Like they feel nicer. Like it's like more slippery feeling versus like the rougher cardboard. For a 3-pack of these is, what is that, $20? So it'd be $7 per box. So if you want something a little bit nicer, you have that, but you're going to need a lot more because again, I have 5 of these currently, which means I would need 10 of these fancier boxes. Now, there's one other option that I want to show you. Now, I don't own this, but a lot of people swear by this. It's basically a giant crate. That holds a bunch of cards. It's basically 2 of these shoe things or 2 of these white ones combined, but it's plastic, so people say it's easier to stack if you want to do that. And they're currently $45. You can get a 2-pack, it looks like, for $85, and a 4-pack for a little bit more. They come in a couple different colors or whatever. I think they have some basic dividers in there too, but not a ton of them. It's only a couple. And then some people will just take cards and put them on the front there so that you can see like the back of whatever it is. Whatever. You could do several different things. But anyway, people really like this storage system as well. If I was to go back and do things, I might get this because now I'm in a situation where it'd be nice to just stack cards, straight up, but it is expensive, right? You're paying for plastic. It's going to store it longer. It's going to be nicer, whatever it may be. But you are paying for plastic, so it's going to be a bit more expensive. So that's just an FYI on that. But yeah, it's definitely another option out there. Now, when I opened up my storage box, you kind of saw this before. There's a bunch of pieces of plastic, and you can kind of see it right here, and especially right here, right? It says Green Goblin in the front. You can see Magog and Spiral and all that. These are all my dividers, and the dividers I use are from Tesseract Games. Now, important note, with the dividers, I also sleeve them. These are, come on camera. These are Sleeve Kings, so I sleeve them as well just because like I thumb through them a lot when I get cards. Like I hit over and over, and I don't want to wear it out. Sleeves aren't that expensive. I don't mind doing that. Some people, that's overkill. It does stick out a little bit on the bottom sometimes, not all the time because the sleeves aren't perfectly cut, but FYI. But anyway, I use Tesseract Games. I'll, again, put a link down there. The problem with Tesseract now is that there's a lot out there. So if you got all the sleeves out there, I think it's like $106 now, and then shipping on top of it. Now, I highly recommend dividers. You can get them if you wanted to. You can just print them online. Like there's cheap options to just print through Board Game Geek. There's direct links, so you can do that. There used to be options. There's some options, I should say, on Etsy. There's not a ton anymore. I think Tesseract's kind of been like the main player. So it's basically free options on Board Game Geek. You go to the Marvel Champions page, go to files, and you'll see dividers. You can just print them out, sleeve them, or whatever you want to do. It's totally an option. But right nowadays, it seems like dividers. Again, there are some up on Etsy. You can just check, just search Marvel Champions dividers, and there's a few options. I don't know them that well, so maybe they're good, maybe they're not. But I have always used Tesseract Games. I've always liked them. I think, again, they're easy to read. The font's good. I like the color coding on a lot of this stuff. I know the one in a box I picked, it's like mostly gray, but all the heroes and villains are different colors. The aspects are different, right? And you can get, I know I said like $100, but I think it's actually more because you can get cards that really break down each aspect to like 1 cost and 2 cost cards. Like I don't go that crazy. Like I just have like all my leadership events and then all like my other events and whatever, right? So I don't get too crazy with it, but you could get more expensive ones if you want. But the reason I advocate for this is if a game is well organized, it's easier to get to the table and it's easier to tear down from the table. And in my opinion, that's the biggest thing holding back people from the hobby is that it takes too long to tear down the game or set up the game, right? So they're just not going to want to do it. If it's quicker to play it, I'm willing to invest in it. And once they're caught up on dividers, like each cycle that comes out is like 10, $11, right? It's not too expensive. I mean, it's still money, right? But it's not too expensive of trying to like keep up with the prices. So it's not too bad, but you do have to pay for shipping out there, and they're based in England, so shipping's a little more expensive. But they do it pretty fast and they get it out to you really quick. So anyway, like dividers a lot. Again, there's tons of options. It's a free option. I don't want to like not point that out, but you do have to do a little more work. Print it on thicker paper to make it easier, and I would sleeve them just because it's going to make life easier. But they do have some really cool designs out there for those that are interested. And really quick, again, this is boardgamegeek.com. Just go search for Marvel Champions in the search box, and then click on files and scroll down a little bit, and you can see there's different dividers. This one's discontinued, not doing it anymore, but there's some other options here, and there's some other options. Like they're not always consistent. Some people will get them and drop off or whatever, but you have to create an account because this won't work. Maybe it will. Okay, never mind. They put it in here, but usually just like take the files, you just download them and print them out, right? There's a ton of options of what you can do. These aren't in English, so maybe that's why. But yeah, anyway, there's different languages too. But those are an option. Just pay attention if it's horizontal or vertical. The reason that matters is because if you're in like a box like this and I got horizontal dividers, they will not fit in this gap. I would have to get a different box. So I use vertical dividers. So just pay attention to whatever the storage system is. Again, if just you take a playing card, right? Like from a 52 card deck, if the playing card does not fit across this way, they do not put horizontal dividers. They will not work, right? Just whatever way the playing card goes is the way the dividers will go. That's just easy if you need to know what you're looking for. All right, the last one's kind of a cheat. So the thing is, I'm a big fan of being as immersed into this game as humanly possible, right? I love just being more a part of the world and enjoying it. And for me, I'm a big fan of tokens, right? I have a lot of tokens. And full disclosure, the token company does sponsor this channel. Now, here's the thing. Even when they didn't sponsor this channel, I still bought all their stuff, right? I bought player boards, and they have a ton of them for each different hero that's out there. They have dials that are out there for the heroes and the villains, right? Like I pointed out earlier, they sell individual tokens for thematic cards or just keeping track of things. There's a ton of different options out there in which you can get. For most people, right, that aren't willing to dive into it, I do think the dials are really nice. And I think they're really worth getting. The reason being is because, yes, the cardboard ones that come with the game work fine. But if somebody plays a lot, the cardboard will wear away. And it doesn't stay as like this. These numbers will stick, right? They are not going to move. They're not going to whatever. They're going to stick. And if I had a bunch of these dials and I just want to store them, right, I can store them all together because they're all magnetic. That's it. I think they're easier to see. I just think they're nicer overall. On top of that, and I had to get the tokens out. The other thing I highly recommend are exhaust and ready tokens. So there we go. Ready and exhaust. And the reason being is because, yes, you could just take your card and turn it sideways. But the problem is if you have a limited space and you turn a bunch of your cards sideways, it takes up a lot of space and it's kind of a pain. You can absolutely do it. I know a lot of people do. But to me, ready tokens just make everything easier. Just plop a token down and I used it, I turn it over. It's as simple as that. My wife was fine with turning cards until she started realizing like this token system is a lot easier. It's a lot more efficient. So we started using it. So again, you can go down the rabbit hole. I mean, if you got everything, we're talking about some serious money. It costs a lot, and I get it. But if you're looking for just basic stuff to like slightly enhance the game that people are like, I highly recommend dials. I think dials, sorry, they're all stuck together. I highly recommend dials. The villain dial I think is really nice. Comes in black and white. I think the player dials are nice, or you can get two of these and use them both as player dials. You can do whatever you want. Like there's no like set thing you have to do. But I think they're really nice, and I think the ready and exhaust tokens are really nice. You can make the same argument for damage and thwart too, but that's probably like a next thing where it's just like threat tokens total, and same with damage tokens, right? That could be a next thing. You don't have to worry about that right away because the cardboard may be fine for a little bit, but maybe that's the thing you upgrade later on. But I'm a huge fan of it because again, it just makes the game easier. And then when you get down the road and you get all the cool little tokens that again that show like, oh, it's an ambulance because, or maybe it will show it ambulance because it's first aid. So we do like a bunch of first aid stuff. Or you get like, I don't want to forget things on cards, so you get the old don't forget token, right? I think that's really cool and really neat. Or again, when something is going to retaliate you and you want to keep track of it so you can see it better, and maybe my camera will focus. I don't know, man, probably not. My camera's like giving up today. But anyway, it has retaliate, and it's easy things to just make your life easier. Like it's just things that are gonna make your life easier, in my opinion. Those are probably next step purchases, and you don't worry about them until later on. Even with the hero boards too, right? I love the hero boards. I think they're really cool. I think they add a lot of theme to it. But if you're just starting off, either get a generic one, which is just black, or if they really love one hero, maybe get that one. But once you get one, you're gonna probably get them all. So maybe hold off on that a little bit. But they are fantastic. I love them. But start with the basic stuff. I do have a link down below in the top of the description. Because they're a sponsor of this channel, they give my viewers 5% off. You just click on the link or the website. It'll show up in your cart. If it doesn't, message me or message by the same token and let them know that like, hey, what's going on with this? And we'll get you figured out. But again, are they necessary? No, not really necessary. But as somebody who plays Marvel Champions a lot, I can never think going back to the game with just basic stuff. Like I love this stuff, and it just makes the experience so much better. So anyway, those are just 5 gift ideas. I know this video is a little bit long, but hopefully it helps you out with pricing and how much things cost and what to look for and what not to look for and all that stuff. So anyway, really appreciate you all taking time to watch this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, pass this video around, share it for all the people to see that if they're looking for gift ideas for you. Let them know, hey, pay attention to the first one or the third one or whatever it may be. And like I said, I'll try to put all the links down below that I can. And thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you all next time.